privacy. So, Vance, what do you think the most serious challenge is around video surveillance?
So around video surveillance, for us, I want to kind of go back to one case we had is in 2011. Its number is 2011-008, if anybody's interested. And the case revolved around a daycare, which had webcams installed so that parents could watch their kids in the daycare during the day when they weren't available. And we kind of looked at that in a few different areas. I mean, the proper safeguards for it and proper consent mechanisms. But we also wanted to kind of look at it from what we call our appropriate purposes test. So one of the things in PIPEDA is kind of saying an organization may collect, use, and disclose personal information only for purposes that a reasonable person would consider appropriate under the circumstances. So that was one of the things. It's in our investigation. It's one of the points we wanted to look at. But we actually kind of got into a bit of a quagmire and kind of said, you know what? Actually, in the report, we kind of say, you know, given the dearth of available evidence concerning long-term negative effects of the trend towards heightened surveillance of our children, we're unable to conclude at this time that the daycare's purposes for collection of personal information at issue are inappropriate or unreasonable. And I think that's kind of the issue I'd like to raise, is kind of saying the tools that are out there, and even on our part, the tools that are out there are kind of able to take a look at or evaluate kind of single instances of surveillance. You kind of say, does this make sense? Where I don't know if we are able to, or even if it's possible to create policy that can kind of say, well, you know what, let's look at this one surveillance in the context of the fact that there are 1,000 other ones. So I think that's kind of the challenge I would like to raise.
What about what appears from the study so far is that people have very little idea about what their privacy rights are. Does that concern the Office of the Privacy Commission? I mean, PIPEDA has been around for 13 years.
Absolutely. I was saving that from some of my other answers. But yes, I mean, I think that's absolutely a problem for us. I mean, I think a lot of us here will kind of know Andrew's work with CCTV signage just in general, and the fact that I mean, we can say it's. I mean, we've had studies come from Andrew that kind of say, you know what, 95% plus, and I don't know the exact number. I think I'm probably estimating low. 95% plus of cameras, or even when there is signage, the signage isn't actually compliant with what we're saying, with what we have, and the fact that. I do agree that people probably, again, I haven't done the research, but people probably do feel a bit of a sense of helplessness, of kind of saying, you know what, yes, I see there's all these cameras around, what can I possibly do about it? I'll raise a suggestion of what that might be later.
Yeah, so we have a question on public education. Yeah.